Hello and welcome, everyone. Man, I was trying to get on Instagram Live too, and just having a little bit of an issue there. Not sure exactly why. Maybe, no, trying to set it all up. So, welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Mary June Tracy, psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, coming to you with the 411 of the Cosmic Highway and bringing you just some little insights on the energies of today. Oh, really don't like how that looks. There we go. Ooh. So, see if I go like that. Oh, no, it won't let me know. This is stupid. Anyways, how's everybody out there? Let me know how you're doing today, how you're feeling, what's going on. We're in Jupiter Pisces land now. We are in Jupiter Pisces energy, definitely. It is here with us, and we are ready. We're ready to rock and roll. So, how can it? I have a workbook now. I have this workbook that I've done up. And it's beautiful outside today, isn't it? It is. It's just lovely. It's a lovely day. So the workbook that I did, hang on. Oh, they're telling people that I'm on there. The workbook that I did goes through, and I just wanted to just talk about it a bit because of with this Jupiter energy and some of the things that people are going to be. I mean, it's just going to get crazy between now and the end of the month. I know there's a lot of crazy energies that are going to be coming in. People are going to be reacting. We're going to be seeing more of eruptions, coming forward. And here it is. It's like with this Jupiter feels like an old comfy chair. It's an imaginative and it's creative in a big way. And we can be so much more inspired by life, and that is one of the big things is with Jupiter and Pisces. We want to be inspired. We want to be able to go with the venture, to venture out, to do creative projects, use our imagination. And Pisces is compassionate. So Jupiter expands on this, right? So there's an expansion with this energy. And we want to do more for others, and especially for those who can't do for themselves. So there's a lot to do about charity, philanthropy, work, and it may build with that, with that energy that is started with Jupiter in Aquarius. So there is this energy of wanting to expand, wanting to help out, and wanting to be a good neighbor, with that energy. And we want to create, this is really, if you're doing the karmic release, this is fabulous time with Jupiter in this energy to do a karmic release. And this is bringing in transformation and change, right? And wanting to bring in the change. I'm living for this Jupiter in Gemini in my 6th house. Oh, Jupiter in Gemini. I'm living for this Jupiter in Gemini. So your Jupiter is in Gemini. Is that what you're saying, Chantal? I don't have your chart. So your 6th house is Virgo. It is ruled by Virgo. So it's ruled by Mars or Mercury. Yes. So your Jupiter is in Gemini. So, okay. So, I mean, depending at what degree it is, right? And that's what this, my workshop talks about, the handout, the ebook, and that talks about it. It talks about, well, okay, what does it mean? Because your Jupiter is in Gemini, and so it's going to be squaring Jupiter in Aquarius, right? So we have a square going on there. So with that square going on, there could be tension. There could be, what do you have to work on? What do you have to expand? What do you have to, and it looks like it's a closing square. I'm doing it in my head. So a closing square. So what is there that you have to complete with your stuff? So there's a completion coming in. Today's my last day at my job. Wow. And the moon's void, of course, until 6 o'clock or so this evening. So we have the moon void, of course. So this isn't really a day to really do too much. Um, One of the things is, I mean, because of C-sections, we have more babies born um, with a moon void, of course. But it's usually as a midwife and those who followed the moon phases, is that, if you started your labor during a moon void, of course, it was sort of a harder labor. But soon as the moon came out of the void, that's when the baby would be born. So it's amazing how much the moon actually rules our bodies and our energies and how the energies flow. And if you see that with the moon, you can see that with how the other planets and how they, with their movements in the across the sky, across our heavens, how that affects us and how it affects the world. And with this moon coming into Pisces, there's this huge transformation of energies that are coming in to get us to be more aware, more creative. Um, between now and the end of June, I know there's going to be a lot of um, crazy upsets, a little bit of upsets coming in for people, and frustrations that are going to be coming in for people over this next. So it's, I mean, I really want us to focus on on our on our divineness and our beauty and our intuition and build on that. Um, I see there's a lot of in the world out there of controversy that is coming forward. I heard what the premier of Ontario was saying, and I'm just like, my visions and things that I've seen, and I've seen, trains pull up with people and stuff all in it. And I just, I'm going to stay fast with what I know and what I believe in with my divine. And that's the important part. And that's what Jupiter wants to teach us in Pisces, because it's so expansive. It's so boundless. I mean, there's no boundaries when you have that energy in Pisces. And that's one of the things Jupiter likes. It likes to have um no boundaries. It wants to have where it doesn't need to be controlled. I mean, he just came out of daddy's house, and it's, daddy was the owner of Aquarius, and now it's Uranus, so it's grandpa's house. But Pisces, Jupiter wants to be expanded. It wants to be able to create i- newness and renewal. So it wants to do all of that. The crazy thing is that Neptune's in there. So his brother, who is the new ruler, is there. So, there could be, I mean, the two of them, there could be a lot of trouble, because you got these two boys who haven't been together in a couple hundred years. So you got this energy of this, of the god of illusions and dreams with the god of expansion, right? And in doing so, this is going to bring in um a lot of interesting energies. I got to close my door because people are starting to come upstairs and talk. Mateus, go downstairs with the dog. So with this expansion, and you say your Jupiter is in Sagittarius. So is it close to the South Node? Right? So, because a lot of times, depending where it's going at with the South Node, you got Sagittarius, you're in fire, it's in water. So you got to look at Jupiter doesn't, Jupiter, it's also the dispositor. Jupiter rules Sagittarius also. So it's the ruler. So it has, it is one of the rulers of your chart, depending on how much energy. It's at the South Node right now. So being complacent, not wanting to being complacent is a big one, because South Node right now, and that's where people are at, is in the South Node, and they're complacent. They don't want to venture out. They don't want to interact. Kind of like they don't really have an opinion too much, which is odd for you, and have an opinion about things. You know, they're hoping that something or someone will fix it all, and it'll get fixed. And now that Jupiter's in Pisces, can get lost in a lot of the delusions, and get lost in a lot of the ideas and the ideals. So, that's, part of the, when we look at, especially when Jupiter, but I'm feeling sassy today, so who knows? Oh no, I'm saying overall energy. Like for us, it's in there. This is the overall energy coming in with it. So it's interesting, because I don't want to be too controversial, but my concern is through this all, and with this energy coming in, and with he's going to enhance all the craziness even more. So a lot of the crazy is going to be enhanced even more with Jupiter and Pisces, and how that affects your individual life. I mean, that's going to be interesting, on depending on your views, and are you conforming? Are you going with the flow? Or are you you're a Scorpio. You are controversial. Yes, I know. It's, when somebody asked me, they said, well, will Palestine and Israel start World War III? And I'm like, it already started. Like, it's already started. I mean, the hacking of this, see, Jupiter, I mean, new things are it's not going to just be the CV anymore. It's going to be like, you're going to see the gas shortages, and especially in the States. So you're going to have the gas shortages. Inflation is going to get crazy. People who are selling or buying houses right now, it's a crazy time. Because of inflation, we're going to see inflation go up even more. And this is part of the sneak peek that we're getting with Jupiter coming in. So, I mean, inflation is going to, get to a point, it's going to get high. We're going to see it in our grocery shopping. We're going to see it in our gas prices. We're going to see it in different ways. So it's going to start hitting, and it's going to start hitting home. Now we're going to start hearing things of saying, well, if you want to live a better life, or if you don't want this, best you get this done, and get it done now, so that you be a good citizen and be law abiding. So we're going to see a lot of forcing of Oz's hand upon us. Can you imagine being a child living in those countries? We really are lucky. We are lucky. Definitely. It is interesting how it all started. And I mean, just with looking at how things are going now with Palestine and Israel, Palestine threw the first bomb onto Israel, and how they, I mean, you got to go into the politics and looking at how the craziness is there, because they do use people as shields. And they will go in and use people as shields, not the Israelis. It's the other side that causes huge controversy there, and it pulls on the heartstrings of the Westerners. Like, it pulls on our heartstrings, where where people will hear about 2 or 3 children dying, and of course we're just like, oh my God, that's horrific, and it is horrific, but that's what they want, right? And I will in a bit. And they want to pull on those heartstrings. So there's a lot of things that are being pulled for us. And that's why, when you are pulled into a certain direction, you have to take a moment, you have to step back. Why am I being pulled into this? What's going on? And what is the bigger picture? Because there's an illusion that's coming in. There is something that's coming in that is causing you to be blinded in some way. And the story might be horrific or sad, But this is where you step back and you ask, what would God do? God wouldn't do that. God wouldn't want to pull at your heartstrings. The goddess doesn't do that. She doesn't threaten you and say, if you don't do this, they guide us. They help us. They don't come in and throw idle threats at us and call us bad citizens or bad people. They come in with the love, and that's where we have to, that's what Jupiter and Pisces comes in, because it is the enlightened one, and it's wanting us to be enlightened. It is wanting us to come into our mindfulness of our being and stand in our truth. And this is where, from the very beginning, we've been told to, to know what our values are, and our values are changing, right? Our values are changing. It's conditional, yes, very much so. And this is where that's why we have to like put our hands on, take a step back and really look at things, really look at, what is it that we value? What is our truth, right? And we're going to be hearing more crazy things or crazy stories that are going to be coming up with people. I had there was an article of a woman in LA whose father, perfect health, bill of health, like he had a bill of health, like good, everything. They didn't have anything for heart, went and got the vaccine, and within 24 hours died of a heart attack. So I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but anyways, but it's just one of those things that you're going to be hearing. But they had a private autopsy because they didn't believe it, and they found the biggest blood clot, and they're not sure how that was formed. So this is where it's like, okay, they were even she was even mentioning, and it's funny because I brought up Good Citizen, even mentioning how her dad sort of didn't really want to get it, but they wanted to travel. They wanted to be able to be together as a family, which I thought was weird. And she said that was one of his main reasons. I want to be there, but I don't feel this is the right thing to do. But, they must know more than I do. And that's the South Node Sag, right? So South Node Sag is like, I'm waiting for someone to come in and rescue me. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So so there's also that enhancement there too. It's like, are you really going to be the good person? Are you really going to listen to whoever are you going to listen to Jason Kenney? Are you going to listen? Because there are, we elected them, so they must be good people, right? So you have to come in, and you have to come and put your hand at your heart. Is this truth? Is this really my truth? And that's what Jupiter in Pisces is going to be bringing up, and Neptune there. So they're going to be bringing up more of the propaganda. They're going to be bringing up more of the of that energy for us. So we have to look. We have to stand firm. They haven't had to comply any statistics regarding the vaccine. No, they're not. They're not going to either, Raylene. Why? I mean, they just want you to blindly listen, and that's the whole thing. Is like with these blind tests, and even if people, like, I know for those who take chemotherapy, when you go in for chemotherapy, it's a blind test. They don't know, because this dosage worked really well on this person who had a similar cancer to you, and now you do it, and then it doesn't work on you, or it's too much of a dose and you need a lesser dose. So because everybody has their uniqueness, we're all unique, we're all individuals, we all have different, the way our immune systems and tolerances. Jason Kenney doesn't know his truth. He knows money and who bought him. Yes, definitely. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part with this all. So we, with this energy coming forward, coming into that, coming into our compassion. Pisces rules spirituality and Jupiter rules beliefs. So here we are. Is your spirituality and your beliefs being questioned? Is your spirituality and your beliefs being questioned? Or are you questioning your spirituality? Or you're unaware because there's so many out there who don't have a spiritual base. So now the spiritual base that is being brought to them is fear, right? Listening to this, and Kenny is talking out of both sides of his mouth. Yeah, he just fired 2 people from his caucus or whatever you call it. Just fired 2 people and then cutting staff. Just 750 people. Yes. And Neptune's that mind fucking everyone who starts thinking about who they actually are. Yes. Well, Neptune is the dream lord, right? So we got Neptune comes in. He's a dream lord. He's the illusionist. He brings you this, this is where Eladol, which is the demon god, but he's also the god. You're going to see a lot of people drinking more than usual. You're going to here I had wine with my dinner last night, but you're going to find people drinking a lot more. So alcoholism and things like that are going to be coming in, or drug use. So we're going to see a lot more people. We're going to hear a lot more about probably ODs. We're going to hear a lot more of, of abuse with different things with drugs and alcohol coming in. And Jupiter is going to just highlight it because, Jupiter is a benefic, but Jupiter is also the guy who will take, who will say, hey, your dad did this. Why don't you do that? Uncle Jupe, the good uncle who wants to go out and still party. And he's with Neptune. So it's like, the two of them haven't seen each other in since 1856, 1855. So they haven't seen each other for a long time. So this is like, okay, what can we do? And he's only going to see him for a brief time. He's only going to be seeing him for a little bit. And then he's going to back into Aquarius in August, or in July, I should say. And then in December, that's when he goes back into Pisces until, I have it written down on my sheet. He goes back in December 28th. So he goes in on the eve, of the eve of New Year's Eve. And then he goes back and he remains there till May 10th. And then he retrogrades till May 10th. And then he goes into Aries. And Jupiter then returns again October 28th back into Pisces. And then on December 20th of 2022, he goes into Aries. And God knows, I know what Jupiter in Aries is like. It is it is an interesting one. I think with people getting vaccinated, people will overindulge because they are coming out of isolation. Yes and no. There is also where people who are vaccinated are the most fearful ones, and they're the ones who want everybody else, to keep your mask on. Don't take your mask off. Like people. It's sort of, it's that twofold, right? Kind of things. There's still a lot of people who are extremely fearful of this whole thing. But, I can see the other. Albertans will just go out and just party. Well, they're telling people you can go without a mask after vaccine. Yes. So, so you can go without a mask. I'll go without a mask anyways. I won't get the vaccine. I won't. There's just something there that doesn't feel right. And I got to trust my gut. My gut is saying no. And anytime I've listened to my gut, it's been right. When I don't listen to my gut, it gets screwed up. Things get fucked up. So I have to trust in this. I have to trust that, I'm not going with the crowd, but I'm not going to be, if I absolutely have to wear a mask to go into some place, I will. I've walked into places and forgot to have my mask and just did my thing and then left. And people just sort of stare at you as if, oh my God. And I'm just like, whatever. But they're also saying that you can, in different places now, that if you wear the mask outside, you need to wear the mask outside now. And I want to know if they've tested the trees and the soil and the grass and everything else. So does the trees carry COVID? Does the grass carry COVID? Because if it's in the air, it must touch all of that too. So it's fucking stupid. That's all I gotta say. It's like I'm done with this crap, man. And done with the idea of it all. But as Jupiter goes on, more is going to be revealed. More information is going to come out for us. And we are going to, we have to go, because Pisces also rules intuition. So you have a stronger inner guidance with him there. So with that stronger inner guidance, this is, an excellent period for expanding your intuitive ability, connecting more with your intuitive self, right? So this is great, solid connection that comes in. And water, it's flowing. So Jupiter rules two mutable signs, Pisces and Sagittarius. So we have a lot of flowing energy with Jupiter in Pisces. There's the ebb and the flow. So being rigid likely won't work out too well. So if you see things, or you see things starting to be too rigid, it's going to blow up in somebody's face. It's going to blow up, right? It's going to blow up. But the use of no mask with vaccine is only in the US. Depending on the state, it is not statewide. I mean, yes, Fauci and Biden mentioned something. In Texas, they have a no mask mandate. You don't have to wear a mask. Florida, you don't have to wear a mask. In Washington, they're saying that you have to wear a mask even after you get the vaccine and outside, because you could get it still. So it's all depending on the state. So it's just crazy. Is this energy super ungrounding? Yes, because it's Pisces. Pisces isn't grounded. Pisces, there's you got to think it's ether. So there's no boundaries when it comes to the Pisceans. That's why Pisceans really work really well with a list and the time date on when to do things and how long they should do things. So they work really well with lists. So this brings in, where you have to, Jupiter rules. I mean, even with Sagittarius, it's mutability. Sagittarius don't really sit still. They're quite busy. They're off doing many different things, right? So it just gets crazier. But I can tell you it is, where you think that they're not going to get stronger on the lockdowns, you don't want, I'm tired of the whole shit, but they probably will. With it, there is a kind of a force that I've seen to get all schooling online, and I've said that before. There is where there's been, it wasn't solar flares. I was corrected by somebody. It wasn't solar flares, but there was energy that came in a couple days ago that hit our the orbit around the Earth, and it caused 2 days ago we had earthquakes around the Earth between 5 and 6. So we had a lot of earthquakes that happened, and in Yellowstone National Park, they had more not volcanic, but more rumblings or earth activity than they've ever had. Now, we don't want Yellowstone Park to blow. Sorry, that's one part. That's one volcano and seismic energy we do not want, right? But it is, it has been rumbling, and they're saying that within 2 years, and our Earth didn't do very well with the magnetic field around the Earth, because it is changing. There's a lot of changes that are happening. Even within our sun, they've been noticing a lot of activity and changes, and same with the different vibrations of the planet. So in our galaxy, it's going through its natural course of changes right now. Vibrational changes and magnetic field is going on. And, you know, if we're going along with the astrology and how things are, you know, in alignment there, that within 2 years, which would bring us up to 2023, and that's when Jupiter goes into Aries and Pluto goes into Aquarius. That brings in a lot, you know, because all of a sudden when Pluto leaves Capricorn, it goes into Aries. That means that whatever's been, or whatever structure was to happen, it's done. So none of the outer planets will be in those signs like Capricorn or Scorpio in our lifetime again. We're not going to see those outer planets. We're not going to see Uranus in those planets, you know, in those signs, or Neptune or Pluto. So Pluto's, you know, Pluto's moving into this new phases in the energies. And where he is, he's going, as he goes into Aquarius, he dips further down into the underworld. And so he's going into his underworld depths. So a rising Virgo, and I feel more of the Pisces energy. Well, because it's opposite you. So that's opposite to you, right? So that's your 7th house. So Pisces, your first house, if you're rising sign Virgo, so Virgo would be your first house. Opposite house is 7th house. So you got to look at what kind. Oh, that's nice. What are your relationships, and how is this affect? You know, this is looking at relationships. 7th house. How are you relating? So that could be bringing in a lot of that energy. Ace of Wands flew out reversed. So it's like, are you blocking your passion? Are you blocking what you are doing? Because it's the ace, it's the beginning, it's the wands, it's passion, right? So looking at, what are you blocking? What's that passion that's coming forward that you might be blocking? And bringing that passion to life, bringing that of what your intuition, right? You know, fire and water work a lot with our intuition, our emotions. You know, here's this energy that, you know, what are we blocking, right? I don't want to do that. And then we have the Chariot. The Chariot is Cancer, right? Chariot rules the heart. That's why there is a, you know, he has armor. He has the armor on. He has, you know, looking forward. It is going with your heart. So again, so now we're still talking about intuition. We're still talking about this energy of, are you following your heart? Are you following your passion with your heart? And this is where Jupiter and Pisces is coming in. Are you following that, or are you ignoring that? So that's where, you know, as we're looking, these cards are they're crazy. You know, which road are you going to go on? Because there are choices that we're going to be having to make. Which, you know, of course, there is the dark Sphinx and the light Sphinx. You know, and they both coincide. So which road are you going? What's going on there? And we end up with the Judgment card. So it's like, when you decide there is releasement that's going to come in, there's releasing, you know, you're rising up. When you follow your passion, when you follow your heart, we know that you will be resurrected. There is something greater for you. When you follow the truth, if you are following the truth, there is resurrection, there is greatness to be had. But if you're not following your truth, then, you know, you're going to be fucked, right? And where does God want us to be? Queen of Cups. God wants us to be with the Queen of Cups. She is her intuition. She knows she knows her feelings. She knows she's the one who comes in. She's the hippy dippy queen. She's the woohoo one that says, you know what, we got to sit, we got to meditate on this, we got to connect with Mother Earth, we got to connect with Father Sky, we got to come in community and talk and be and allow ourselves to feel the energies and not block ourselves from it. She comes with this gifts with the angels there, and allowing for our connections with the angels, allowing for our connections with the divine. And the queen, rules the water signs. So she's ruling Pisces, she rules Cancer, so she rules this energy of Scorpio too. So this is bringing in, are you following this emotion? And Jupiter comes in. We're going to bring Jupiter in with the passion, with the understanding of expansion, understanding of our intuition. Where is it? And Neptune says, okay, we can create this, right? And opposite Pisces is Virgo. You want to create it, let's bring it back. Because where does the energy be released? The energy has to be released in the opposite sign. So whatever happening on one side, whatever is opposite, is the releasement sign. So if there's a transiting energy that is happening in the sign, and it like Pisces, so there's transiting energy, Neptune, Jupiter are in there. They're activating certain points. Where is it released? It's released opposite. So whatever's happening there will be put down into Earth, which is Virgo. Virgo's going to make it real. Virgo's going to make it happen. There's going to be a way of bringing it down to Earth. So what are you dreaming? What is that passion that you have? And how do you want, because, if you want to make the propaganda, if you want to make everything else real, Virgo says, okay, we'll bring it down. We'll make it real, right? Because that's your illusions. That's where you're hiding or whatever it is, right? And what will make it happen? Or we can you want to bring in your truth in your dreams and your values. We can make that happen too. So it's up to you. You have that choice, right? On where you need to bring in that creation and that creativity. And that is going to allow for you to heal. It's going to allow for you to let go of those parts that are holding you. And the word I got, holding you ransom. So what is that's weird. What is holding you ransom right now? Like I have to pay this off, or I have to do this in order to get that. So there's a ransom that maybe you feel you have to pay. In order for me to be a good citizen, I have to do this, and then I could do that. But in doing that, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't bring in that peace and that love and that satisfaction and that connection of your truth with God. Because Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces is a connection to God. And we have the square coming up because Saturn is going retrograde. So we have Mercury hitting its shadow starting tomorrow, starting its shadow phase through Gemini, because it's going to retrograde in Gemini. We have Saturn that is already slowed down. It's not doing anything. It's like very slow right now. It's going to be going retrograde, and Uranus is going to square it. So this is like, if you're staying in your truth, what is it that you need to release in order to stay in that truth? To work out, I need new clothes. Yes. Oh, this is where the energy's coming in, right? And to cook this thing perfectly, I need the top of the line cooking appliances. Yes, there you go. But we are going to see a lot of shortages. We're going to see a lot of shortages, as Candace wants the top line cooking appliances. Right now, we just got a call about our Jeep because it's 15% over asking price for our Jeep. So used vehicles are increasing in value because it's hard to make or produce new vehicles because they're unable to get the microchips or whatever. So you're looking at about a 3-month waiting if you're buying a brand new car off the lot, right? Same with different appliances too. So you're going to be seeing appliances go up or the lack thereof. So we're going to start seeing shortages in weird places like appliances, vehicles, and all kinds of things. Getting new things makes things fun. It's motivational. So this says the Virgo rising, says the Leo. I don't give a fuck what you say. I remember everything that you told me. I don't give a fuck what you say, but I remember everything that you told me, which is typical Leo. So bringing in the subconscious, the past karma, all fall under Pisces domain. So you may see some subconscious issues and baggage become easier to deal with. Hence, I'm having the karmic release in June 4th, 5th, and 6th. So if you are wanting to do releasement, this is a fabulous time. Or if you're wanting to do it over again, you can let me know. I only have a couple spaces left for that. You'll find all of this impacts you most with the areas of life ruled by the houses, Jupiter and Pisces tours in your natal chart. So take a look at your natal chart. Take a look at where is Jupiter in your natal chart, right? And how is that impacting you with this? And then with Jupiter, the important times during Jupiter and Pisces is Jupiter retrograde, where you might be feeling lazier than usual. I mean, Jupiter remember everything. It's true. Leos do. That and then Aquarius is know everything. So this energy of, Jupiter over the summertime, you might have a lot less motivation in doing something or doing things. So your motivation will be lacking, over the summer. So we're in for a ride. That's all I got to say. And the cyber attack, I think, is only the beginning of certain of things that are to come, and other cyber attacks that are going to happen. I think, with Mercury retrograde, make sure you back up everything. There's going to be a lot of glitches. I've already had a lot of glitches on my own computer and stuff like that. So more things like that you're going to see with Mercury retrograde. And it's short, but it's a powerhouse. It's powerhouse, and it's long, because this is the longest he's going to be in any sign. So so it's going to be a little bit cray, just an FYI, little cray with that. So I just, right now, for myself personally, I am becoming the hermit more so. I lost my data and my phone. Really? Oh, Jesus. I feel I've had a client who won the ghost tour, and we were supposed to do the ghost tour, but I don't feel comfortable because it's like I don't trust the energies that are out there right now. So I'm not, I said I want to postpone it for now. And even I know she at Blessed Circle, she's only Tuesday to Saturday, 12 to 5. She's reduced her hours right now. And it's hard. I'm there Tuesdays and Saturdays to do readings and that. But it's just weird. That's all I got to say, is the energies are weird. Right now, I really prefer, and my guides really prefer me to do readings online. That's where my energy is to do readings and teachings online. But I've been saying that since 2017, that everything to go online, and I couldn't figure out what that meant. But for me to do things, It's not that I don't want to be around people. I like people. I like people. I love being, doing readings in person or teaching in person, but I'm finding that energies, especially for some people, are just getting crazier. And I think more people, you're going to find more people are angry, and I don't like being anywhere but home. Yeah. I, it's like, I just got like, yeah, you want to tell people to put a sock in it. Um, I think there's frustration and stuff out there. I feel there's going to be people having more psychic attacks or demon attacks, or feeling like they're being under attack in some way. So I would rather teach you classes on how to handle that, on how to deal with that, you know, and work with your. I honestly think working with your natal chart and understanding your natal chart is an important part of it, you know. Um, and I find, for me, yes, I can learn a lot by books and watching different videos, but I learn best, for me, is when I took my classes for astrology, and I was in a group setting, and I got the recordings afterwards, and I could follow up with the classes, because I may not have understood, what is the dispositor, and that really threw me for a loop. And now it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. I understand what that is. Um, but it took me, watching it a few times. But that's the whole thing, is like, for me, in learning and working with, I mean, the shadow side, all of that kind of stuff is all coming really deeply back. Feeling so oppressed. People, yeah. I mean, you gotta look at it. It's like, we're pretty lucky that, okay, we're in a lockdown, but you still have your home and everything else. Um, Looking at the homeless population and stuff in LA, it's horrific. It's horrific down there. And they're spending billions. It was it $12 billion or something like that, or maybe it was 7 billion. It was $1 billion, something in the billions, of to clean up the homelessness in California. So that will be interesting. Um, I mean, they've emptied all their jails and everything. So, but to put somebody who has a drug problem in jail, to me, is stupid. But I mean, I think that they need more treatment centers, because there's a lot of hurt people out there, and people need help. And that's the thing. People do need help. Um, and, they do need some form of treatment from that. And that's what I think, is that we need more treatment centers and people to help in counseling and, in that social work. So that's where you're going to see the activation for service, because of Aquarius and because of Virgo. Virgo is the sign of service and wanting to be of service and help. Routine, what is that service I can do? So people, and with Aquarius, it's about humanity, of, wanting to be the humanitarian. So we will see those, that humanitarian of service, especially with Jupiter and Pisces opposite Virgo. So we're going to see a lot. We're going to see those things coming to the forefront, which they need to be. So that's a positive thing. Those things cannot be pushed under the carpet anymore. In mental sense, yes, they need more earth-based homes for these people. Yes, and they need, and doing those types of things is an education. Like, people who've lived on the street cannot just go live in a house. I mean, if they've lived on the street, anybody who's lived on the street longer than 6 months or more, they have to be rehabilitated to come back into a home setting. And the rules that you have in the home and things that you need to do. I mean, we've seen it. There's studies shown where people have been given a brand new home, have never lived in a home before, and it's trashed in 3 months. It's just like somebody who wins $1 million, the money's gone in 6 months because they're not, they need an education on how to invest and how to deal with that money, right? Because they've never had it before. So it's a different vibration. So educating and bringing people into into that new vibration, into that new energy. It's like any of us going into a new energy or new vibration. If you're entering into, say, someone's going into a crystal store who's never been in a crystal store, that's a whole new vibration. And the first time you're going in there, you can be disoriented and dizzy, and it's hard to get grounded. So you have to learn how to ground, learn how to focus. What am I going in here for? Same with any types of healings, right? You're doing I remember one time I did it was at a wise woman retreat, and they had this it was like a teepee cathedral, teepee church, and we all and you laid on the floor. So we were all laying on mats on the floor, and they came and they put the bowls on us, and they did the healing on every single person in there. So everybody's getting the vibrated with the crystal bowls. And then a didgeridoo, a guy came around with a didgeridoo and blew it up and down our chakras. And everybody's lying on the floor. So everybody was just like, all our energies were starting to connect. It was fantastic. It was fabulous. A few people got sick from that because they couldn't handle the energies. It was a whole new frequency, right? Right. Someone is going into a new job, right? It's a whole new frequency, whole new energy. And what is the energy you want to bring to that new job? What you want to bring forth to that job? So that's where you have to sort of, when you're going into something that is new, you have to honor your energy too, right? Because you might have an agenda, or you might think, so you have to be able to go into that space and sort of like be the observer. You have to observe before you integrate your energies fully into the place, right? You might be go hung and let's go for it, but the energies are saying that you're going to have to sort of take a step back, sort of watch, be patient. It's all going to be integrated, but don't go in there over, like, yes, there's enthusiasm, but just be the observer. I'd be dropping cash into real estate. Yes. Yeah. If I got the big one, there's a plot of land I'd like to get. But then I'm thinking, where do I want to live? Where do I want to live? I want to live somewhere warm. Sorry. I really want to live somewhere warm. I want to live somewhere by an ocean. I don't want to go to East Coast. I don't like the humidity of the East Coast. It's too humid for me. It's too humid. West Coast, there's humidity, but it's not as humid. And there's still a little bit of the dryness there too. So I would like to be somewhere along the Pacific. I don't know if I'd want to stay in Canada. I would maybe want to go somewhere where I could live a lot less, cheaper. And so maybe Hawaii or New Zealand. Yeah, Hawaii would be nice. I'm leery about New Zealand and Australia right now because of what's happening with China. See, that's New Zealand, like, I got a weird vibration. Like, I would love to be there, like, and live. I would love to live in New Zealand. But there's a weirdness that I'm feeling, and it has to do with China and the attacks. So there's something weird going on there that I'm feeling. So there's a craziness that's happening there. And yeah. Same with Hawaii. Hawaii, definitely. I mean, you're still part of the United States. Yeah, I feel a little easy. I feel a lot easier with Hawaii than I do with the Australia and New Zealand right now with the energies. So yeah. I wouldn't go anywhere along the eastern or along the west coast of anywhere in South America right now because of the fault line and earthquakes. Whatever it is, my fingers are crossed. That drops the house's price. That drops the housing prices here in Canada. It's going to be a bit before that pops. Something's happening in October, Candace. So there's things that are going to be happening in October. October is an interesting month, but there's things happening in October. And Cynthia, for your new job, really, you got to take the step back, girl, and just allow for everything to unfold for you, and it'll unfold beautifully for you, definitely. And for Raylene, you really have to protect yourself as you go out. You absorb a lot of people's energies and a lot of people's stuff when you go out. So you really have to make sure that you are protected when you go. Calling in extra, calling in that God shield, right? I have 2 weeks off for now. So that's good. 2 weeks. I mean, congratulations. I'm glad you took the 2 weeks off because I think that's a real positive thing especially for women, so that you can really integrate and really release the old and allow yourself to work into the new energies that are going to be coming forth for you. And I feel like there's going to be many times that you're going to feel like you're going to lose your breath with your new job. There's a lot of newness that's coming in, but you're going to lose your breath. So meaning, and that's what they just keep telling me. Cynthia is going to lose your breath because you're going to be overwhelmed by a lot of stuff, new learnings, new curves, and you don't have to be the perfectionist. Saying that to you. So you got to let go of being the perfectionist. So just saying. So for today's a fun day. Today, allow for the fun to happen. Put the music on. Go for a bike ride. Move the energies, right? Move the energies. Allow yourself to move. Have fun. And enjoy. Just enjoy, really. I know by this evening with the moon going, when the moon goes into Cancer, it's just going to bring in, we're going to head into the weekend in a little bit of craziness. Hawaii doesn't like being part of the States. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't like being a part of the States at all. And the thing is, with Hawaii would be, here I go back up. Hawaii would be perfect because you can grow so much. There's so many things. You can have your own chickens. You can have, you can have your pigs. You can have grow your own garden and everything else. I mean, you don't have to really rely on everything being shipped in. So, I mean, but they do. So that makes the cost of living there exorbitant, but there are where you can actually really live well there and live off the land easily, I think. More so than say here. Here it's hard to live off the land. I'd probably, where I'd end up moving? Oh, God help me. I'd probably go and live in the Okanagan Valley again. And go live back in Penticton. So, and Hawaii, but it's funny because when you mention Hawaii always makes me feel safe. I don't know why. It just does. Weird. Hawaii makes me feel safe. There's a safeness there. So she's probably calling me. So here we are. We're going to make a trip and we're all going to Hawaii. That's what we're going to do. Then the next stop we'll hit Fiji, then Australia, then New Zealand. There we go. And then we'll make a trip around the world. That's what we'll do. And end up, and we'll go upwards, and then we can go into the UK and take a trip to the UK. Yeah, let's plan it for 2022, 2023, girls. Margarita time. Have a blessed one, everybody, and we will talk to you tomorrow. So may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Have a fabulous day and go and dance. Bye-bye.